One of the moving on, one of the other things I wanted to talk about was the gig economy. For those of you who are not familiar with the gig economy, the gig economy is a labor market for temporary, freelance, and on demand jobs where gig workers, are hired for short term gigs instead of permanent positions, often facilitated by digital platforms or apps that connect them with customers for services like ride sharing. So think like Uber, Lyft, taxi stuff basically, delivery, or freelance tasks. It offers flexibility for workers, but also raises questions about worker protections compared to traditional employment, with millions participating through platforms like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Upwork, and Fiverr. Those are websites and apps, for those of you not familiar, that basically are gig apps and allow people to sign up and make money by doing different tasks or gigs, like as described. Key characteristics: temporary and freelance. Work involves short term contracts, projects, or tasks rather than long term employment. Digital platforms, apps, and websites like Uber, Airbnb, Fiverr connect workers directly with consumers. On demand services, providing immediate services or goods, from driving and food delivery to tutoring and creative work. And worker independence. Workers often set their own hours and choose their projects, but lack traditional employee benefits and protections. Boy, don't I know. Man, examples of gig work, again, transportation, so like Uber, Lyft drivers, delivery work, DoorDash, Instacart, Amazon Flex, freelance services, writing, coding, graphic design on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, home and pet services, renting out property, Airbnb, or pet sitting, Rover. Growth and impact. The gig economy has grown significantly, partly due to increased digital connectivity and demand for flexible services accelerated by COVID. It provides economic benefits like efficiency and flexibility, but presents challenges regarding worker rights, fair pay, and benefits, prompting discussions about new worker classifications. One thing here I wanted to read to y'all too was a Reddit discussion that was reporting a report, a Goldman Sachs report, of gig economy attracting more workers as these layoffs increase. A lot of these layoffs are being caused by AI, allegedly. At the beginning of it, in my opinion, it just seemed like it was going to be a way for them to lay off people and then just blame it on AI and automation saving them money. But if you look at these companies almost a year later, none of them have been more effective or more efficient or more productive. They haven't made more money in some cases with the usage of AI, at least generative AI. And generative, unless there are things they're not telling us, as far as like the different AI models that the company uses and then the ones they give to the public, as far as their own productivity and efficiency. But yeah, I mean, there's more layoffs, and it's just a reason for them to lay you off. And now that AI is also being marketed as you can use this in any field in any industry. That means any field, any industry, any business can lay off and fire the workers, and if they wanted to. Sorry, y'all. I live by an expressway where there's a police station, fire station. Um, yeah, if the businesses want to fire you, they can just fire you and say AI makes life better now, and they don't have to prove that it does. At least now, I'm sure there's probably a legal case to be had if you get fired and they say we did it because of AI and it made us more efficient, but they don't show any proof of that efficiency and productivity. Um, because just because you can automate a task doesn't mean like you still have to babysit AI to a degree. So it's not like you can just give important tasks and things like that to AI just yet, and it does it for you, and you don't have to worry about some mess that you're going to have to clean up with a human hands anyway. So, yeah, I want to talk about the gig economy, especially moving into 2026. Uh, my next topic was like preparing and navigating 2026, but it is kind of off of the gig economy. Um, my advice would be to what a lot of marketers have suggested, a lot of business folks have suggested, diversify your income as best as you can. Um, when you look at what's happening, at least here in the States, with this current administration, you look at the tariffs. Um, like, yo, it's cheaper right now for me to print out and send these to myself, these hoodies, than to go buy a hoodie in the store, in most of the stores that I go to. Think about that for a second. It's cheaper for me to make my own shirts, hoodies, and things like that than it is for me to go to the store right now and buy shirts, underwear, socks, hoodies. That was wild to me. I went to the store the other day to go get a long sleeve. I needed some new long sleeves. It was $30 a pop, and there was no like long sleeves bundle pack like I was used to seeing. I come from the Kmart era, so like there was no pack like that. And then even the undershirt joints, like those are like really thin material. It's not even, not all of them, but like some of them, the ones I was seeing, like for a decent price, um, they were just you could tell like they were just cheapo things, and they were gonna rip or shrink and warp when you put them in the washer and the dryer. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Um, then I went to go put an order in for new hoodies and things like that, and I saw that the price for the long sleeves was like you can get it for like 15-20 bucks uh, through the printmaker. And I was like, wait, so I can even have a custom joint, which usually is worth more than the base. Like, this is crazy. This is wild. Um, but yeah, diversify your income because the prices keep raising, and the price of your income is not going up. So you literally got to like do a bunch of different things. Diversifying your income streams because the price of what you're making is not raising. I think the hardest thing right now is figuring out what do you have time for, what do you invest in that's going to be worth your time, and can you read when things are like changing and shifting. So for instance, one thing I'll do a lot of the times is like when I take a Uber or a Lyft, I'll ask the drivers like, yo, how's driving recently? Like, how's your day going? How's the rides? And, some of them will let you know overall, like what you getting paid and what they getting paid. Uh, and at one point it was lucrative. I remember I met a Eastern European guy, young dude, who was like 20, young, like early 20 something. And I remember we was talking and he was driving me home, and I'd asked him like, yo, is this like good work for you? And he was just like, I work two jobs. I do this, do Uber, do Lyft, and then I do working at the docks. Like I drive to New York City from Pittsburgh to here, from here to New York City. He drives and he spends months out on the sea doing fishing with a crew on the ship. Does that for a time and then comes back here and then drives around. And he was able to just doing that was able to save up money for a house, um, two cars, car for his wife and for himself, just by doing that. So like it can be lucrative, but now you have more folks, especially with the layoffs, coming into the gig economy, and the platforms are charging you or are paying you less. So like one ride, and especially like depending on where you live at, that can be really, uh, really hurtful to your pocket. You think of like L.A., one destination to another might be longer, but they're like basically charging similar to the same amount for each ride, even if the distance is different. So if the distance is longer, you're still only getting $10 off of that ride. So there are folks here who might go from downtown to the airport, and you're only making $10 off of it. Like it's getting crazy out there. So you got folks who work Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and all that to pay the bills. Um, I would say, I mean, and I get that hustle. I would say so you don't get bored and work yourself to death doing the same thing. Maybe change up if you can what different types of jobs you can do. I'm only saying that because I don't want to like sell you on a dream of things will get better. I don't believe things will get better. I believe if anything, they'll get more chaotic, more unpredictable, more predictably unpredictable, in which you can predict and bet on, oh, this shit gonna get chaotic. Like, it's gonna get messy. Cause some of this stuff is just like no one saw Venezuela on their bingo card. No one saw uh, any of this stuff moving into 2026. None of it. Um, those in the know for sure, but none of us that are probably watching this, listening to this, um, are in the know. You know, we go to sleep, wake up, eat, sleep, rinse, wash, repeat. You know, you do that every day and go to work, do all that stuff. Um, but yeah, I just want to talk about the gig economy more so for any of y'all giggers out there. That sounds horrible. Any of y'all gig economy people out there, gig workers. Um, how's it going for y'all? What's your industry? What are you working in? What have you been doing to make ends meet? I know as a music artist, if I was just doing music, just doing those kind of gigs, like last 2 years, I've been able to now going on 3 years this year, hopefully. Um, haven't gotten an eviction notice or utilities being cut off, and alhamdulillah, all praise to the Most High on that one, man. Like, but every year before that, it was robbing Peter to pay Paul and doing man. Um, and a lot of that is just based off of doing this multimedia work. It's not me doing. I don't make beats for money. I make beats for passion. And doing that for like the different programs I work with. Hang on, man. Another reason why we gotta get that studio, y'all. Gee whiz. But yeah, that's what I be doing to pay the bills because, creative gigs are people are trying to pay you less to do a lot of the creative stuff. And especially if you're in like marketing or anything like that, people are trying to pay you less now because of AI. Um, and the other elephant in the room was so a lot of these companies was on their way out before AI. AI is just enhancing that. The same way how the internet can enhance the fact that you don't have a business. There's a lot of people who will come to me. I shouldn't say a lot of people. There are some people who will come to me locally and not locally. And they'll be like, yo, I need your services. And you schedule an appointment to talk with them. They have an idea, but they don't have a business. And you find that out usually in the conversation leading up to it or during the conversation, but nothing leading up to it. They might tell you like, yeah, I got this business, da 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 da. But in a lot of different cases, it's just a business idea. It's not a fully realized thing yet. They don't even know how they want to make money. But yeah, before I get off on the tangent with that, because I can feel myself with that, diversify your income streams. Let me know which ones y'all are doing down in the comments below. But yeah, on that note, we're going to go to our commercial break.